This is a Komatsu WB140 Backhoe. It was made by First Gear and it's in 1/50th scale. Now, just like all the rest of the Komatsu models from First Gear, they did a really good job with this. It's a very nice balance of just good detail and good quality. This has a lot of finer details that you don't find on a lot of other backhoes in 1/50th scale, which is really nice. Just looking at it sitting on the shelf, it displays very well. The paint is very good. The decaling is all very crisp. There's not a lot of plastic. It doesn't match the metal terribly well, but it doesn't really take away from it either. You do have a lot of finer details like the handrails here and the lights. You can see the lights on the back of the cab. They're really pretty nice. The stabilizer has stabilizers that have a lot of finer, small parts that are done really pretty well. If you look inside the cab, you can see some excellent interior detail, and it looks just fantastic. It really does. Everything's in there that should be in there. Now, you do have a little bit of steering underneath, which is cool, but it is kind of fine. The detailing underneath is pretty decent, but basic. As far as the loader, you have a pretty decent range of motion, but it is stiff. I mean, it is really stiff. Like I can't hardly get the dumping cylinders to move at all, and I feel like if I force it, I'm going to break it, which is kind of disappointing. Now, you do have a coupler up here. You have a 4-in-1 bucket, and it's a tooth bucket, which I'm not terribly a big fan of. They are out there, but I don't really like having teeth on my backhoes. Just a personal preference, I guess. You do have a set of forks that you could put on there, which is pretty cool. As far as the backhoe, you do have a very good range of motion. It is an awful lot easier to pose than what the loader is, which is good. Yeah, at least it's not so stiff that you feel like you're going to break it. And this does also have a coupler, and it comes with a hammer, which is cool. The hammer, I think, is maybe just a little bit too big for the backhoe. Like, maybe just a little bit. Like that. I think it's one of those scale things where this is probably right, but it just looks a little bit too big. And what's really cool is it comes with a tamper plate, which is a pretty neat and unique attachment for these backhoes. You know, the Diecast Masters backhoe, you come with they come with a hammer and a set of forks and all that. But having the tamper plate is pretty cool. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically you have a vibratory motor right here, and you have these. It's like 4 fat rubber bushings right here, and it's just a steel plate. And what it does is you when you're backfilling and you have to get compaction in a trench, that's why this is as wide as the bucket, you can basically just compact one little square of dirt at a time all the way down the ditch. And it's a good way to get compaction. If you don't have like shoring in your trench and you don't want to put somebody down in there, you can use one of these, and that's where they tend to shine. Also, it's nice if it's 6 degrees outside. Really nice. Anyway, now Komatsu still makes backhoes, but they really don't sell any in the North American market anymore. They used to, and this was one of the North American backhoes, but not anymore. Probably in maybe 10 years they haven't done it. Now, the only time I've ever run a Komatsu backhoe was it was really kind of a Grand Theft backhoe situation. The place I was working at, we needed a backhoe for a couple of hours, and one of the other contractors that was on site had one. It was just kind of like, hey, can we just borrow your backhoe for, you know, a couple of hours? We'll buy you guys lunch or whatever. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I run it, and I mean, it was okay. It was just like anything else at Komatsu. It was nice and strong, but it wasn't nothing to write home about. And I can kind of see why they discontinued it. You know, there was really just nothing memorable. Anyway, so like I said, you can still buy them, or they still make backhoes for Europe, but not really North America. The reason for that, I have no idea. I mean, you would kind of think if you're selling them in Europe that you'd sell them worldwide, but that's just not the case. I really have no idea why. On a completely unrelated note, this backhoe is really just a good example of what could be if Ertl would just give up their backhoes. You know, I would love to have a decent Case 580 or a Deere 310 in this level of quality and detail. That would be awesome. I mean, Ertl's essentially had the same casting for like 30 years now that they've used for their backhoes. Like, yeah, there's some minor changes, but mostly it's just paint and a model number. That's the only thing that they update on their backhoes. And this is just a good example, along with Diecast Masters, just of the quality of that you can get and keep it affordable. And it's just a shame that we can't get that. You know, here we have a discontinued backhoe that is just phenomenal, but the ones that are in current production you can't get a decent model of. Like I said, it's borderline criminal. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. That's all I got for this. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. If there's anything you'd like to see, let me know. I might just have it. If you've asked for something, please be patient. I'm working my way through the list. If you'd like to see more of what I have, please subscribe to Maryland Construction Diecast. And thanks for watching.